We are back with Wake Forest University Law Professor Marie-Amélie George and Guilford Works Executive Director Chris Rivera. They're answering your questions about new jobs and unemployment and navigating both systems. Remember, you can text those questions to 336-379-5775. Some of the text questions that we get about unemployment process issues are so complicated that there's not any kind of way that they could answer them here on the spot. But there is a solution to that. So Marie-Amélie George is heading up a pro bono project for Wake Forest Law. Kind of give us the 101 of that so people know what this is.
Sure. So it's a website that you go to and you submit the question that you have about unemployment benefits or federal pandemic assistance. That goes to an email address. It gets assigned to a student who will research your question and work with a professor to get you the best answer possible and the information you need to get the benefits.
And so that it is a free service, but it is something that is only by email. Some people were asking, can I call them directly? And there's not anybody there that's answering a phone 24/7. It is by email.
It is only by email, and we also are answering your questions about the process. We can't look up your claims for you. We cannot represent you in a hearing. But if you have questions about how to apply for benefits, what kinds of benefits you qualify for, what the next steps are, those sorts of things, we are glad to answer them.
Because we will all just say it, right? The process and filling out the form online, it can be very confusing, the way that things are worded.
It is confusing, and there are multiple programs, which is what makes it especially complicated right now.
Now, and we want to make sure that you have the way to get in touch with Wake Forest. So maybe you were just watching that, you heard her talk about that, and you're like, oh, I didn't have a pen to write that down. So there is a way for you to be able to do that. In the Two Wants to Know section right now, we have a web story that is up that talks about unemployment and also the Wake Forest Pro Bono project. Here it is. You'll notice it starts with that bright yellow new jobs and unemployment graphic there. That's where all you have to do is just click the links that you would like, whether that is for the Wake Forest Pro Bono project or if that is for NC or Guilford Works to be able to find a job. All right, this next test question says, I can't even get through online to the unemployment office. Are there any alternatives or numbers to call?
So in theory, you can start an unemployment benefits application over the phone. The problem is that phone lines tend to be pretty backed up, and there's sometimes some miscommunication when you talk to a DES agent, and you may have to call several times to get it fixed. Your best bet is to keep trying online. You have to set up an account and go through that. Another good option, if you're having trouble creating the account, is to use the chat feature on their website. DES agents have a little bit more availability there, and they're a little bit faster to respond if you're using the chat function.
Chris, this person is asking, my question is, do the benefits and extra funding have to be paid back to the government?
No, they do not have to be paid back. It should be noted that those benefits are taxable. So that's the only thing that from a claimant standpoint that would have to be paid back to the government, but the benefit itself is not required to be paid back.
And there is a part in the benefits where it's asking you, would you like some of your taxes to be withheld?
Absolutely, and we're not going to guide anyone as to the best way to answer that. Certainly, individuals know their household income requirements, but it would have to be filed on your end of year taxes.
Okay, so while you do get unemployment benefits, they are taxed just like your regular paycheck would be, and if you elect not to take any taxes out, then those taxes will be due by the end of the year. This person is asking, can you tell me why people who were college, federal student, work-study employees never qualified for unemployment benefits?
So I'll take a stab at it first and then punt this to Marie-Amélie. So it could be because the individual is working in a federal work-study program. They are not actually working for an official employer of record that would be pouring into a state system that they could make benefit determination. And I'm really stretching here. Those individuals, perhaps could have been or could be eligible for the PUA program, which is for individuals that would normally not qualify for state benefits. So I'd really look to our expert, Maria Amelie, maybe for some perspective on that.
So, students who would not have been eligible before under state unemployment benefits are not eligible for a couple of reasons. First, you have to have worked for a certain period of time, you have to have accumulated a certain number of wages and paid a certain number in the benefits program to be eligible. The federal government enacted or passed the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program, which made people who weren't previously eligible for benefits. And it was independent contractors and those types of workers. The reason I can think of a couple of reasons why work-study individuals would not, people with work-study wouldn't be eligible. First is that it's part-time work as opposed to a full-time job, and it does apply to lost employment opportunities if you can't get a job because of the situation. But if you're a work-study student, your full-time job is to go to school. You are working part-time, and so you can't fill out the certification that you are eligible and looking for full-time work.
Okay.
So that might be another reason why.
All right, we're going to continue to answer your text questions. We've got one more segment left. We've got to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.